Good morning, everybody. Shefa Brucha Vatzluche. We are in Sefer Shmot, and we are in the second parashat, Vaera. And in our parasha, the 10 plagues are starting. And before all of this, we also see the beginning of the mission that Moshe Rabbeinu goes, and an unbelievable thing happens. And it's not the first time. Moshe Rabbeinu is arguing with God, and it's the beginning of it is in the last parasha when we see Moshe Rabbeinu after he goes to Pharaoh the first time. Sorry, 1 minute. When he goes to Pharaoh, and things instead of getting better are getting worse. So he comes to God and says, "Vayashu Moshe el Hashem vayomar, Hashem, lama erot al ha'am hazeh velama lama? Why did you do bad to the people? Why did you send me? If you had the intention, dear God, to do what you did, instead of taking Am Yisrael out, instead of making things better, you made it worse. Things got worse, and you didn't save the people. So why did you send me? You will see what I'm going to do. The Pharaoh is going to send you. Don't worry, everything is going to be okay." First of all, the answer is not so clear. What do you mean? You're asking, why did you do this? It says, you will see what I'm going to do. Well, what answer is there here? Then, we start our parsha. וידבר אלוקים אל משה ויאמר אליו אני השם. And God talks to Moses and tells him, I am God. And here we have to see that there are 4 phrases that have a different meaning. וידבר, always when it is וידבר, לדבר in the Torah, it means hard things. And Vayomer means good things, or things that elevate you. When God Elokim is Midat Adin, is like judgment, and God Hashem is mercy, is Chesed. And here we have all 4 things. Vaidaber Elokim, so he had the hard things with Moshe Rabbeinu, Elokim Midat Adin, judgment, and then he tells him in a nice way, Vayomer, Ani Hashem, I am God, mercy, I am Chesed. What does it mean? So here, there are a lot of explanations, like always. One of them is that God is telling him, well, really, you had the chutzpah. Well, you tell me that I made things worse. Why did I send you? Yes, I am God midat adin. I am judgment. I am God from the let's say from the hard side of the picture. But at the end of the day, Ani Hashem, I am God, I am mercy, I am chesed. But you have to understand, things have changed, and things have to happen in order to take Am Yisrael out of Mitzrayim is a procedure. And this procedure includes things getting worse. Why? And here we see another interesting thing. Ani Hashem says, Vaera el Avraham, the same way I approach Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov is not the same way that I revealed myself to you. To them I revealed with El Shaddai. To you, in the name of God, a different name. And what is the difference? The difference is that till now everything was according to nature. Nature, Hateva, in Gematria is God. But everything goes as we understand it. From now on, it's a whole different thing. Now it's going to be miracle outside nature. And that which we see with 10 plagues and everything that is happening. Like water becomes blood and all those things that are abnormal, they cannot be explained in a natural way, they are above nature. And why is this so? Because Geulat Mitzrayim had to have this. It had to be a miracle that everybody will see that God is the one who created the world, made the world, He's controlling everything, and He is on top of all the things. Because when God created the world, there was nobody there. And in the generation that passed, unfortunately, the belief in God got less and less, and people started to believe in idols, and Pharaoh himself put himself as a god. So in order to show Pharaoh and Am Yisrael, and we'll see in the eventually that it's mainly to Am Yisrael and to the whole world, that God is the one, the only one, there is nothing else. That's why the whole idea of Yetziat Mitzrayim. That's why all those miracles are outside nature, that they cannot explain them any other way to understand that there is God above all those things. And that's the way the plagues are also divided to 3 presets, but we leave this for now. The main problem is, from our point of view now, is what situation are Bnei Israel? We see very strange things. When you come to release somebody from jail, from being a slave, so you will go to the guy that has to release him, and then you come, I released you. So in other words, the attitude should have been that Moshe Rabbeinu is going to Pharaoh and tell him, let my people go, and then go back to Bnei Israel and tell them, Chevre, Kadima, now we are all released, we can go. But he is going first of all to Bnei Israel, and only later on to Pharaoh. Why? And here we see an interesting point. It says, "V'lo shamor el Moshe mikotzer ruach v'avodah kasha." Didn't listen to Moses because they were occupied, were busy with surviving and hard labor. So everybody thinks, which is normal. We're talking about the normal physical slavery, and this is why they couldn't listen, because they were busy surviving. And when you are busy surviving, nobody can now start and talk with you on Geulah, on freedom. You are, let's say, in the end of the day, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And one of the explanation is, מקוצר רוח ועבודה קשה. What עבודה קשה? עבודת אלילים. They were deep in idol worshipping, that they had a problem. They couldn't get out of this. It's amazing. And this why, look what's happening now. He is telling him, to Moshe, לכן אמור לבני ישראל, tell the children of Israel, I am God. והוצאתי אתכם מתחת זבולון מצרים, והצלתי אתכם מעבודם, גאלתי אתכם, לקחתי אתכם לי לעם, הייתם לכם והייתם, כי אני השם, I am God. אלוקיכם, your God, that take you out of Egypt. הבאתי אתכם לארץ אשר נתתי, אני השם, again, I am God. What is this? I am God, we understand it once. Why do we need to say it again and again and again? He says the problem is, like the Rebbe Mekotz used to say, if we thought that the problem was taking Am Israel out of Egypt, the problem was taking Egypt out of Am Israel. They were so in Avodah Zarah that it was impossible to take them out. By the way, the whole idea of Yetziat Mitzrayim, and that's what we see with the Arba Leshonot Geula. Why do we need four phrases for the Geula? Because this Geula was not the end. It was only a part of the Geula Sofit. At the end of days, when then we'll have the full redemption and the third temple will come down from heaven. That is, let's say, something that didn't happen yet. In other words, Yetziat Mitzrayim was only a stage in the procedure. And this is why it's with four different phrases. As we see in the Parsha, is written, הוצאתי והוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, הוצאתי is one, והצלתי אתכם, the second one, וגאלתי אתכם, the third one, ולקחתי אתכם, it's the fourth one. And this is why we have the four wine glasses on letter Seder and Seder night against those three phrases, three Lashonot Geula. So we now understand that it's only a procedure, a part of a procedure. It's not the end of it. So why wasn't it, let's say, the end? Why wasn't it the Geula Shlema, the full redemption, the end of days? Because Am Yisrael were in a stage that if God wouldn't taken them out of Egypt at that particular moment, there was nobody to take out of Egypt. They were so in the Egyptian people. But Timale Aretz Otam, we talked about last week, the whole land was full with them, and then all the problems started. But they were so involved in Avodah Zarah that they were like losing it. And eventually we see that only 20% got out. And this is unbelievable. How can this be? Seeing all those miracles, the 10 plagues, as we talked a minute ago, to show the whole world that God is the one, the only one, and stay in idol worshipping? How could this be? But this is the nature of human being. In life, we unfortunately don't see sometimes more than 1 millimeter from our nose. and we're surviving the moment, living the moment. We don't care what's going to happen later on. What does it mean, slavery today? We are slave of the money, of lust, of desire, of all the joys of this world, and we forget about anything else. The only thing we've got in our mind is the next enjoyment, the next satisfaction, and unfortunately, it leads us to put our belief, to put our mitzvahs down, and the main thing in our life is have another enjoyment, another holiday, another car, another beautiful house, another this and that of the. And this is what we have to understand. If we want to get out of Egypt, the first thing to do is Ani Hashem. To understand that everything we have, and there's no problem, you can have whatever you want, all the joys of this world, but as tools to worship God. Not as the main target. That's not our target. Our target is not beautiful house, beautiful clothes, holidays, and joys and money of this world. No. Those are only means to get closer to God. And of course, if you use your means and you have whatever you want, Baruch Hashem. The problem is that sometimes we are so involved in this world that we forget. And I must really tell you something that somebody sent last week to me. And I'm still in shock. And this is a girl, a lady is called Ruth Kabsa Avramson. And she's writing something unbelievable. I'm translating it from Hebrew. Before a few months, a friend told me with pain on an incident that happened in a school of his granddaughter. The friend is a traditional person. Again, he's not religious, traditional. He belongs to the educated, established, and very, like the top, the creme de la creme of Medinat Israel, of the state of Israel. And he told me, says this Ruth, שנכדתו, his granddaughter, that learns in the Chinuch HaMamlachti, in the public education of Medinat Israel, yes, Eretz Israel. She put herself on a journey to Poland. You know, they have those journeys to Poland to see the concentration camps and what Am Yisrael went through in the Holocaust. The mother was amazed to find out that one of the days of the traveling is, what do you think? Everybody says Shabbos. No, Shabbos is no question. Yom HaKippurim, on Yom Kippur. They were planned to drive and visit the concentration camp in Poland. During the holiest day, the fast day of Am Yisrael, Yom HaKippurim, that I cannot express myself. That they died in those concentration camps because they were Jewish, because they kept the Torah, and they kept the Torah there in the most terrible conditions. Also fasting Yom Kippur when they didn't have anything to eat anyway. And taking children from Israel to visit the camps on Yom Kippur? She was sure that that is a mistake. So what did she do? She approached the school. And the school, you know what he said? He blamed her in Adata, in forcing the religion. Adata. Can you believe this? I read it already this week a few times. And I'm going to write the Dvar Torah of Shabbos also with this in. And I'm shocked. I am disappointed. And this reminds me, what was the right to take Am Yisrael out of Egypt. So the Midrash says, Shelo Shinu, they didn't change the language, the names, and what the clothes. And also, I'm not going to go into it. But the title is Lo Shinu. They didn't change. They were going on in the ways of our ancestor, the way of Yaakov Avinu, Avram and Yitzchak. And also those who died on Kiddush Hashem in the concentration camp were murdered and tortured. The whole existence is because they lo shinu. Didn't change the ways of our ancestor. Didn't change the ways of the Torah. Unfortunately today, everything is changed. Living here in Eretz Israel. And when you talk about tradition, our tradition, people shout to you, Adata. You are forcing the religion. As Napoleon once said, when he saw people mourning on Tisha B'Av, and he asked, what are they mourning for? Says, on the temple. What temple that was destroyed? Well, no, I didn't hear anything. No, it's not now. It's 1,500 years ago, 2,000 years ago. What? He says, well, a nation that cries about something in the past will be privileged to win the thing back. A nation that's got a past has got a future. If you disconnect yourself from the past, you've got no future. And here, a country, a state that was established on the simple fact that we are Jewish. What does it mean, Jewish? Jewish is Jewish connected to the Torah. Our right of Eretz Israel are from the Torah. And when people are talking about putting in the school education of our tradition, they're shouting no. I think they know in the general schools more on the Islam and Christianity than they know about being Jewish. Unbelievable. And on top of this, to hear this, and I'm telling you, if you're going to ask today a child in the general education, Mamlachti of Eretz Israel, of Medinat Israel, about simple, basic things in our tradition, you will be amazed to find out that they know nothing. And this is again what our parasha is telling us. The problem was that the believing God was secondary to believe in idols that didn't want to know about God. To the point that first of all Moshe Rabbeinu had to go to Bnei Israel and explain to them, Ani Hashem, Ani Hashem, Ani Hashem. I am God. I am coming in the name of God. Hopefully, we are the other side of the picture. We are those who believe in God, go in the way of God, and will spread the belief in God wherever we can, in a nice way. To show everybody the beauty of the Torah. To teach them that our existence here in Eretz Israel is a miracle. Being surrounded with millions of enemies that tried through the generation to kill us, destroy us, and nobody succeeded. How? Look at it. A miracle. It is a miracle that's happening every day. And this is because we didn't change. We are going on in the ways of our ancestors, the ways of the Torah. And nobody will change our opinion. All the best and have a beautiful week.